Why older adults wake up at 3 a.m. What it reveals about your health, sleep, and emotional well-being. Have you ever noticed how many older adults suddenly wake up around 3 in the morning, unable to drift back to sleep? Maybe you've been there too, lying still in the quiet darkness, staring at the ceiling, wondering if something's off with your body or maybe your mind. Here's the truth. This early morning awakening is far more common than most people realize. And no, it's not just a random part of aging or a bad sleep habit. In today's video, we're diving into 6 revealing reasons why people over 60 often find themselves wide awake in the middle of the night, and what those wake-ups might actually be telling you. Each of these reasons goes beyond the surface. They touch on your biology, your emotions, your routines, even your life story. And by the end of this video, you might see your sleep not as a problem to fix, but as a message to understand. We'll explore the science, your hormones, circadian rhythms, hidden health triggers, and the deeper layers like your emotional patterns and social shifts. And we'll do it in a way that's respectful, insightful, and uplifting, because your life experience deserves that. So if you've ever opened your eyes at 3 a.m. and whispered, "Why now?" you're exactly where you need to be. Stay with us, because what you discover here won't just help you sleep better. It might help you feel more connected to what your body is gently trying to say. Now let's begin with the first reason. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, your legs twitching, or a strange restlessness you just can't explain? You're not anxious, not dreaming, but your body feels off. This isn't in your head. This is in your chemistry. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to what we eat, especially in the evening. A quiet but powerful reason many older adults wake at 3 a.m. is due to nutritional imbalances or missing key vitamins and minerals. Let's break it down. As we get older, our bodies become more sensitive to nutritional imbalances, especially at night. And when key nutrients are lacking, your sleep can be the first thing to suffer. Magnesium, vitamin B12, vitamin D, and even protein all play critical roles in helping the body rest, repair, and relax overnight. Without enough of them, your nervous system can become overactive, your blood sugar can drop, and your muscles may tense up, triggering wake-ups that feel sudden, strange, and unsettling. Linda, a 71-year-old retired librarian from Ohio, knows this story all too well. For weeks, she kept waking up in the middle of the night with her heart pounding. At first, she thought it was anxiety. Then she wondered if it was something more serious. Her doctor ran tests. Her heart was fine, but further blood work revealed that Linda was low in magnesium and vitamin D. She also wasn't eating enough protein in the evening, which was causing her blood sugar to dip during the night. Her body, in response, would release adrenaline, jolting her awake. That kind of physical jolt in the middle of the night can feel terrifying. And it's more common than you think. When your body lacks the minerals it needs to relax, or the nutrients it needs to regulate blood sugar, it interprets that drop as a threat. That's when you get the racing heart, the fluttering in your chest, the strange alertness that makes it nearly impossible to drift back to sleep. The consequences of this pattern go beyond just feeling tired. Older adults who experience repeated nighttime awakenings are more likely to suffer from daytime fatigue, brain fog, and even increased risk of falls. Sleep disruption caused by nutritional imbalance can also quietly strain the cardiovascular system and weaken bone density over time. 2 things that are already vulnerable as we age, but there's good news. These kinds of wake-ups are often reversible. Linda began adjusting her evening meals to include more protein and magnesium-rich foods, things like salmon, spinach, and a handful of cashews. She added a small boiled egg or a slice of turkey as a bedtime snack. Within 2 weeks, her 3 a.m. episodes faded. She still wakes occasionally, but she no longer feels the panic or the physical unrest that once haunted her early mornings. So if you find yourself lying awake at night with a racing heart or restless legs, ask yourself, what did I eat yesterday? Did I skip dinner? Was it all carbs, or was there something grounding, something nourishing? Your body speaks in signals. Sometimes those signals come as cravings. Other times they come as wake-ups, and in both cases, it's asking you not for medicine, but for nutrition. Do you ever wake up feeling anxious, crampy, or restless? Could it be your dinner? Let us know in the comments. And if this story reminded you of someone you care about, please share it with them. There's something no one tells you about getting older. It's not just the gray hair or the slower mornings. It's the quiet way your body starts to whisper at night, through aches, pressure, discomfort, and sometimes those whispers grow loud enough to wake you up. For many older adults, waking up around 3 a.m. isn't about anxiety or dreams. It's about the body saying, hey, something doesn't feel right. That something might be a stiff joint, a full bladder, a tightness in the chest, or a dull ache in your back that's been building up unnoticed. These are what we call physical interrupters, subtle age-related issues that come knocking while the rest of the world is asleep. Charles, a 74-year-old veteran living in Colorado Springs, experienced this firsthand. He's always been active, proud of his independence. But lately, he found himself waking 2 or 3 times each night, mostly to use the bathroom. One morning, at 2:45 a.m., as he shuffled toward the restroom in the dark, he lost his balance and fell. Thankfully, he wasn't seriously injured, but it scared him, and it shook his confidence. Charles didn't realize that the medication he took for high blood pressure was also acting as a diuretic, increasing his nighttime urge to urinate. Combined with a mild case of arthritis and a soft mattress that didn't support his spine, his body was being pulled out of sleep for all the wrong reasons. This isn't rare. In fact, studies show that over 60% of adults over 65 wake up at least once a night due to physical discomfort or a need to urinate. Conditions like arthritis, acid reflux, prostate enlargement, or even certain medications can all become silent saboteurs of sleep. And the toll? It's not just tiredness. Interrupted sleep makes it harder to concentrate, weakens your immune system, and raises your risk of falls, which are already the #1 cause of injury in older Americans. A single broken hip can mean months of recovery, reduced mobility, and even loss of independence. But here's the empowering part. Many of these wake-ups are preventable, or at the very least manageable. Charles made a few smart changes. He spoke with his doctor about adjusting the timing of his medication. He stopped drinking fluids after 7 p.m. He added a supportive pillow for his knees and started stretching before bed. Within a few weeks, he was waking up just once a night and walking to the bathroom confidently with a motion-activated nightlight guiding his way. Sometimes it's not about fixing everything. It's about listening to your body and making one small adjustment at a time. So if you've been waking up because of pain, pressure, or the bathroom calling you more than once a night, know that you're not alone. And more importantly, you don't have to just accept it. Your rest matters, your safety matters, and your nights can be peaceful again with just a little awareness and a few changes that work with your body, not against it. Have you ever had a night where physical discomfort pulled you out of sleep? What did you do to cope? Or are you still searching for answers? Tell us in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked, underestimated reasons why so many older adults wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. A simple shift in chemistry. The gradual loss of melatonin. You may have heard of melatonin. It's often called the sleep hormone, but it's so much more than a supplement on a drugstore shelf. It's the internal signal that tells your brain, it's time to wind down, it's time to rest, you're safe now. When we're young, melatonin flows like clockwork. As soon as the sun begins to set, our brain gets the message. But as we age, that message becomes fainter. In fact, research from the National Sleep Foundation shows that adults over 60 produce significantly less melatonin than younger adults. And the drop begins gradually in our late 40s. What does that mean for you? It means you may fall asleep easily. But staying asleep is a whole different story. At around 2 or 3 a.m., when your body would normally still be bathed in melatonin, the levels have already dropped too low to hold you in sleep. Your brain begins to stir. Your senses pick up on the tiniest cues. A dim light under the door, the hum of a refrigerator, a creak in the hallway. And just like that, you're awake. Not because something is wrong, but because your body no longer has the chemical fuel to stay in rest mode. For many, this becomes a nightly frustration. You go to bed early, hoping for rest. You wake up in the middle of the night and suddenly the hours stretch long and quiet. You check the clock, it's 3:11 a.m. again, and you wonder, why me? Why now? That's exactly what happened to Margaret, a 69-year-old retired nurse living in Vermont. She had always prided herself on being a good sleeper, but lately she was waking up like clockwork in the middle of the night. Not anxious, not in pain, just fully awake. After reading about melatonin, she realized her body wasn't broken. It was just aging. That shift in understanding changed everything. Margaret didn't rush to take pills. Instead, she started to create a more melatonin-friendly environment. She dimmed the lights after dinner, turned off screens an hour before bed, read novels instead of scrolling through her phone, and she started sleeping with blackout curtains and a soft sleep mask, blocking even the slightest light. Within 2 weeks, Margaret noticed she wasn't waking up at 3 a.m. as often. And when she did, it was easier to fall back asleep. She wasn't fighting her body anymore. She was supporting it. And you can do the same. Here are a few gentle changes that can help boost your natural melatonin. Keep your evenings calm and dim. Avoid screens. Yes, even the iPad. At least 60 minutes before bed. Try a warm bath, soft music, or a little quiet journaling. Let your brain know the day is done. Limit bright lights in the bedroom. And even a tiny nightlight or glowing alarm clock can confuse your internal clock. Consider blackout curtains or even a soft eye mask if you're sensitive to light. And if you do use a melatonin supplement, always talk to your doctor first, especially if you're taking other medications. The truth is, you don't need to fix your sleep. You just need to honor how it's changing. Sleep in your later years isn't broken. It's different, and different can still be beautiful. So now I'd love to know. Have you noticed yourself becoming more sensitive to light or waking more easily in recent years? What's helped you sleep more soundly? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this resonated with you, give it a like and share it with someone else who may be quietly struggling through sleepless nights. And remember to subscribe to Golden Wise Elders, because growing older doesn't mean sleeping less. It means sleeping smarter and caring for yourself with more intention than ever before. Not all 3 a.m. wake-ups come from something wrong inside the body. Sometimes it's about what's missing outside of it. When people retire, when the children are grown, when the house is finally quiet, the rhythm of life shifts. Days slow down, afternoons stretch long, and evenings come early, sometimes too early. That's when a new pattern begins to sneak in. Dinner at 5 p.m., the falling asleep during the evening news, lights out by 8:30. And then, without realizing it, your sleep schedule starts creeping forward until your eyes open at 3 a.m. sharp, and you wonder why you're the only one awake. But you're not the only one. Walter, a 66-year-old former high school coach from Minnesota, faced this exact shift. After retiring, he found joy in the stillness of his home. But within a few months, he began waking up earlier and earlier. At first, he didn't mind, but eventually, those early mornings felt lonely and unsettling. He wasn't rested, just done sleeping. By breakfast time, he was already tired again. What Walter didn't realize was this: our brains rely on social cues, physical movement, and mental stimulation to regulate when to release sleep hormones. And when life slows down, those signals fade. Your brain starts thinking, well, the lights are off, the house is quiet, there's nothing happening, must be bedtime. And the earlier you fall asleep, the earlier you wake up. This isn't laziness or aging. It's biology responding to your routine. Or more precisely, the lack of routine. The danger in this pattern isn't just feeling groggy in the afternoon. It's how it chips away at your energy, your mood, and your motivation. Some older adults start napping during the day, feeling disconnected in the evening, or even mistaking this exhaustion for depression. But here's the truth: your body still craves rhythm, and you can give it that, gently, intentionally. Walter decided to rebuild his evening routine with purpose. He started walking after dinner, just 15 minutes around the block. He joined a local book club that met on Zoom every Tuesday at 7 p.m. He made a simple rule: no getting into bed before 9:30. He even added a dim reading light to his living room and began writing one postcard a night to a friend or former student. And over time, his sleep shifted. The 3 a.m. wake-ups grew less frequent. He felt more connected to himself, to others, to the world beyond his front door. It didn't take a pill, just a little structure. So if your days feel too quiet, if your evenings come too early, and if your nights end long before sunrise, ask yourself, what is your body really missing? Is it movement, connection, stimulation? Because here's the secret: sleep doesn't start with closing your eyes. It starts with how you live your life while you're awake. Now it's your turn. Do your evenings feel calm or too empty? What small habit could you add to give your brain a reason to stay engaged a little longer? Tell us in the comments. You never know who you might inspire. So here we are, at the end of this quiet journey. But maybe for you, it's really just the beginning. The beginning of understanding your sleep, your rhythms, your heart in a whole new light. Tonight, we didn't just talk about why you wake up at 3 a.m. We talked about what your body might be trying to say. We uncovered how your internal clock has shifted. Not broken, just different. How missing nutrients or a light dinner might leave your body running on empty before dawn. How physical discomfort, medications, and age-related changes speak to you in the stillness. How a simple drop in melatonin, the sleep hormone, can quietly nudge you awake. How the loss of daily rhythm after retirement can leave your body confused about when it's really time to rest. And finally, how your heart, that beautiful, brave, enduring heart, sometimes just needs to whisper at 3 a.m. because there's no other time quiet enough to be heard. None of these reasons mean something's wrong with you. They mean something in you is alive, responsive, tender, and still deeply connected to the life you've lived and the person you continue to become. So if you've been waking in the dark, tired, confused, or maybe even lonely, I want you to know this: you're not alone. Not in your questions, not in your silence, not in that moment when you look at the clock and wonder why the night feels longer than it should. What you feel is real, what you need is valid, and what you deserve is peace. So here's my gentle invitation to you. Start small. Adjust your evening light. Add something nourishing to your dinner. Stretch. Breathe. Speak softly to yourself before bed. And when you wake at 3 a.m., try not to fight it. Try to listen. Maybe it's just your body asking for comfort. Maybe it's your soul asking to be seen. Either way, meet it with kindness. Before we go, I'd love for you to take a moment and share with us. What part of tonight's video resonated most deeply with you? Was it something you hadn't thought about before? Or something you felt for a long time but never had the words to express? Leave a comment below, because here on Golden Wise Elders, we don't just talk. We listen, we honor, and we walk together through every stage of this beautiful, complex, sacred thing called aging. If this video brought you comfort, clarity, or even just a moment of peace, please give it a like. It tells YouTube this is a message worth spreading. Subscribe to the channel and tap the bell so you won't miss the next conversation we share. And if someone in your life is lying awake tonight, unsure why, send this to them. Let them know they're not forgotten in the dark. You've earned your rest, you've earned your peace, and you're more deeply connected than you may realize. To others, to your own wisdom, and to the quiet strength that lives inside you. Sleep well, dear friend. Until next time, we'll be here when you need us most.